Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Pretend Problems podcast. My name is Chad Daniels.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Cook.
Kelsey Cook, the popper, the spitter, she's got a little bib on her microphone that I think is she's like, I just have too many, what'd you call them?
They're called plosives.
Oh, that's when you, okay.
In the biz.
Yeah, so when I do my sound check, I say, I like pizza, I don't like taxes, because it has all the p and the t and the s and the...
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a night guard for my microphone.
Sure.
It's a lot of technology, and when I listen back to the episodes, it seems like you don't have an issue with this, and I don't know if I, from being on stage, have just learned to emphasize words, because I think it will be...
I'm also on stage.
I know.
I think you're just naturally an aggressive person and angry. I think you have a lot of built-up anger that you don't let out. That's why everyone's like, oh my God, she's so nice. It's like, I'm going to get murdered one time. And that's all it takes. It only takes one time to get murdered.
Yeah, look at her eyes when she says P and T words. And you tell me how nice she is.
P and T? Okay, don't mind if I do.
We picked a poor name for a podcast.
Pretend Problems podcast.
So my apologies to you listeners. My apologies to you listeners for the first 5 episodes without this microphone mouth guard. If there were any big pops in your ears when I would say P and T words.
Well, also, we got some new lighting in here.
Yeah.
We put down a lighter blanket so this green couch doesn't make us look super green.
Yep.
We're trying.
We're
trying. And thank you for continuing to listen, of course.
Yeah, you can watch the show on Chad's YouTube channel.
Yes.
You can also just listen on all podcast platforms. And whichever way you're listening or watching, if you could just, like it, leave a 5-star rating and review, share it around, post it on your Instagram stories, just anything that you could do to help keep spreading the word about the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because we're loving it. I'm having so much fun with you. I'm having fun. Are you having fun?
Okay. So here is something that happened to us. Mm-hmm. I got chili last night. I got chili made for me, from you, by you. I don't know prepositions. But by you. You made me some chili. Yes. Is what I've been trying to say. Mm-hmm. And this is because I beat you in cribbage and we had a bet. Mm-hmm. And the bet was the loser has to make an involved dinner. Yeah. It can't be like throwing something in the microwave or putting it,
no mac and cheese.
Sandwich, right.
No mac and cheese.
So I got to have a family recipe of yours.
Yeah, my stepmom makes a really good chili.
Yeah,
so I thought
she makes a really good everything.
Yeah.
If we could just say that.
Shout out to my stepmom.
I just got to experience, I've experienced cookies and some treats. I got to experience a Christmas dinner. Mm-hmm. And my God, the combination of your dad's drink making skills, your stepmom's just cooking across the board, and then your grandma's homemade applesauce.
I know, which I know
it's
you
outrageous.
Hear homemade applesauce and picture us just in the middle of nowhere in a barn eating some sort of weird Amish meal, but it's so fucking good. Yeah,
it was outrageous. When you do hear homemade applesauce, you go, oh, someone's going to get complimented on their pretty mouth. And then you're just like, it just smells pretty because of the homemade applesauce.
Someone ate by candlelight, and not because it was romantic, but because that's the only electricity in the house.
Yeah. But it was so good. And so I got this chili.
Yeah.
Because you lost. And it's vegetarian, although you added some ground chicken to it. But what you also added was every single kind of bean known to man, which is a shit maker.
It's a shit maker.
It's a gas maker and a shit maker.
It's not a great idea for me. If you've listened to previous episodes, you know that not only do I have IBS, but it's been a bad few months of health run-ins for me and my anus.
Yeah, anus. So we had this chili last night.
Yeah.
And today you were in the bathroom and I heard... Normally I can hear when you get up off the toilet, because...
Why can you hear these things? I guess you have weird hearing.
Here's the thing. So this is another thing. While we were eating the chili last night, if we're at a restaurant, I can't hear the person across the table from me. Mm-hmm. I can hear conversations across the bar, but not the person across from me because there's too much white noise.
Yeah.
And then there's sometimes music coming from up above. But last night we were talking and I just paused and then left the house.
Yeah.
Because...
I thought Chad was about to abandon our family because he was just talking and then he trailed off and stared out the window for no less than 7 seconds and then just went, I'll be right back. And he just got up and left and he walked outside and I was like, I mean, this is how these news stories start of when a spouse is like, I mean, we were just eating dinner and then he just got up from the table and then I never heard from him again. And then like they resurface in a different country with their other family. And you're like, oh, okay.
But that normally happens because the other spouse is going like, why don't you tuck your shirt in? You look nice when you tuck your shirt in, but you never tuck your shirt in. And then the guy's just like, yeah.
I'm going to take the garbage out.
And then just keeps on walking. Yeah. It's not garbage. It's his clothes. It's everything he needs. So I heard what I thought was a human voice coming from the side, and our neighbors aren't home. They are snowbirds. And so then I heard some leaves rustling, but it was bigger than like a squirrel or a rabbit. And I heard this through a window. So I went outside.
Truly, you're Daredevil.
And it was just a possum is what happened. It was a possum traipsing around. So then I came back in and you told me all this abandonment stuff. But then today I also heard 2 flushes. And then I didn't hear you get up during those flushes. So I'm like, maybe she's passed out and leaning on the flusher. I don't know. But then I heard her get up. And along with that, I heard it. So she gets up, count to 3. 1, 2, 3, which is enough time to stand up, pull your pants up, and then turn towards the mirror. And I hear her go, oh, like that. Like she's fucking exhausted from shitting this chili out. Like, imagine coming home from a really laborious day of work and then you get there and you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, hope I don't have to do that tomorrow. It was that exact same noise.
I do hope I don't have to do that tomorrow. I don't ever have to do that again. That was a lot.
Yeah. So that made me laugh. But the reason, and then we were at the store last night and we started,
So Chad, as you've heard on the show, big bidet fan. I don't love a bidet. Women's parts are a little closer than dudes' parts. It's just, I don't like the spraying of water in different directions down there. I like a wet wipe. And so when we were at the grocery store last night, I picked up some wet wipes. We got all the chili ingredients. And then as we were putting them on the conveyor belt, we looked down and we were like, oh, this is so clearly the ingredients for chili and what you will need for after you eat the chili. It's just like wet wipes, toilet paper, like all these sort of, necessities.
A home enema kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And next to 3 different cans of beans.
It was wild. It was so good. But when you look at all of the stuff that's in it, you just go, oh no.
Oh no.
This is going to be brutal.
And guess what? We're having leftovers of it.
Absolutely.
In about 2 hours.
I can't wait. Now, how I won this chili, I said it was from cribbage, 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And then, so you lost, and then you said, do you remember? You said, let's go double or nothing. And so I said, what does that mean? And she said, well, if I win, I don't have to make you chili. But if you win, I'll make you the chili. Which is insane. It's like going, let's go double or nothing. If I win, you don't get what you won. But if I win, then I will just do what I had already had to do because I lost the first time. That's not double or nothing. That's nothing or the same. Hey, do you want to play nothing or the same? 2 out of 3?
To me, nothing means you do nothing.
Right, if you win. But if I win, then that's half the double part of it. That's what double or nothing is. You have to not make me 2 loads of chili, but like a dessert.
Right.
Something fancy. I mean,
I just thought I could.
Maybe I don't want you to make me dessert as I sit here with a pillow on my stomach because there's a camera pointed at me, but you get it.
Chad's trademarked lap pillow that he insists on wearing every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought maybe I'd throw out the double or nothing thing, see if you would turn into one of the guys at the state fair who was just like, oh, sure, little lady, whatever you want. You know,
whatever the pretty lady wants, the pretty lady gets.
Thought I'd give it a try, but
well, I'm already sleeping with you, so it's not going to work.
I know. Listen.
That's
came
fair.
to that conclusion quickly.
Okay.
So, well, he's walked into a bathroom after I've been in there. It's not the same. He knows too much. It's not the same as the carnival men. But yeah, and also before we get into the rest of the episode, we should probably plug our tour dates.
Let's do it
before it gets too deep. By the way, Happy New Year. This is coming out on January 3rd.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. I hope that you are 2 full days into whatever your New Year's resolution was.
Yeah.
And if you've already given up, you're Team Chad.
I'd like to talk to you on this episode about what your New Year's resolution is.
Okay.
Because I don't know if we've ever talked about them in our relationship.
I don't think so.
Okay, I want to know later.
Okay.
This month, I'm going to be at the American Comedy Company in San Diego, January 18th through the 20th. And then LA, I'm going to be at the Comedy Store in the main room thank you, on Tuesday, January 23rd. Then in February, I'm in Tacoma, Philly, New Jersey, Stamford, Connecticut, and then tons more coming up. So kelseycook.com for tour date tickets. How about you?
Well, I can't find my thing that I had pulled up.
I believe there's a Tampa and a Tempe involved.
Not right? A Tampa.
Just a Tempe.
Yep. Because for those of you that had tickets to Tampa, if you're watching, I apologize. Because we had a miscommunication from the club and some people in my camp. And so we're figuring it out. But right now, I'm going to be in Tempe, 12th through the 14th at the Improv. I'm going to be the 26th and 27th of January at the Blue Room in Springfield, Missouri. And then Oklahoma City, Bricktown, February 2 and 3. And then also, I'm just going to skip ahead. I do have more dates, but I just want to be very... March 2nd, I'm going to be at the Fitzgerald Theater in St. Paul, Minnesota, filming another special. And the tickets are going fast. So if you want them, I really would get them.
Yeah, they are going so fast. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
So exciting.
Thank you.
We also, when we were in Spokane, we visited my mom, who I've said before on the show, my mom has dementia, and it was so great to see her. And I especially love getting to have time where it's you and her hanging out, because you never got to meet her before she had dementia.
Right.
And I just always try to, like, any chance that I get to watch you two together is really fun for me.
Oh, that's nice. Well, I have a lot of fun too. And what was great is the first day we were there, she was mega giggle fit.
Yes, laughing at everything. Actually, laughing at things that were like not the appropriate time to be laughing. Which
it was great. Like, it was so fun.
Somebody in our family, like a younger person in our family, just had an accident where they like broke both their wrists, and my cousin told my mom that. My mom started laughing. We're like, no.
So hey, listen, it's tough sometimes when you're on a roll. 2 broken wrists, kind of funny, because you picture like that sucks for a long time.
Right.
You can't. Yeah. You need the bidet. You can't even get the wipes at that point.
Right.
You have no choice.
You know what? My mom actually did broke both of her wrists when she was maybe in her 30s. And so, she's told me funny stories about that. She couldn't get the pain medicine bottle open because she had 2 broken wrists. And so she took a hammer and she smashed it. So maybe hearing that somebody else broke 2 wrists to her brought back funny memories.
But yeah, that could be. Wow. Yeah. Foosball queen breaking 2 wrists.
Intense.
I'd say so.
Yeah. Went down roller skating, braced herself, broke 2 wrists. But anyway, so she doesn't always have a filter now. And sometimes her responses with dementia can be like unpredictable, of course.
And I think honest.
And very honest, yeah. And so we were seeing her, and I had just trimmed your beard.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, I just trimmed Chad's beard. And you stood in front of her, and you're like, yeah, what do you think? Do you like it? And my mom goes, no. Just like so sincere. Like, no, I don't actually.
Not really a fan. And then at one point she goes, I think right when I got there,
yeah,
she goes, well, who's this guy? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, shit, you did trim a lot of my beard.
Yeah.
You really took a lot of length off.
Yeah. I think she asked a few times that trip to, which was so sweet. At one point, it was like later on in the visit, and she asked you who you were. She said, who are you again? And like, oh, I'm Chad. I'm Kelsey's boyfriend. And she went, oh, dang it. Like as soon as you said it, she remembered and then was, I think, bummed at herself that she forgot. But it's always like,
I got a lot of different looks. I come in with, I'll stay a whole session with a jacket on. I'll take it off. I got hats. I got long beards. I got short beards.
Yeah.
It would be tough.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Her nickname for you used to be the lumberjack. Before she met you, I would show her pictures of you, and you were usually wearing flannels and stuff like that. And so she'd be like, oh, how's the lumberjack? Or, she'd call you that. She also watched your special with my cousin.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And they started calling you Chatty Poo.
Yeah, she did remember that.
Yes. And my cousin said that at one point when she was watching your special. My mom just goes, dickhead. Just called you dickhead. You probably deserved it. Whatever you said.
Super appropriate.
Very sassy.
Yeah.
But it was so great.
I love that. From lumberjack to dickhead. I've done it.
You've done it. You've done your full evolution. Yeah, it was so great. Thank you for coming to Spokane with me.
It was a blast.
My dad and my stepmom and
oh shit. Well, on the next episode, we can talk about how we went and saw everyone in my family, which we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we're gonna have updates from that. That'll be interesting. It'll be fun. So that was kind of our recent Spokane trip. And then we also wanted to talk about how you're about to do a sleep study.
Yeah, that's true. I suck at sleeping.
Yeah.
Maybe the worst ever. Except I tell myself I'm the greatest sleeper in the world. And last night I actually slept. I slept I laid in bed for 8.5 hours. I think we were in bed.
Yeah.
Or maybe 8. And I slept for, I'm going to guess 5 of them.
Okay, so that's good for you.
Pretty outrageous. That's pretty good.
Which is, if you're somebody who sleeps well or normally, like me, hearing that is hard for me. I'm like, what? Like there were 3 hours spent where you weren't sleeping?
Yeah, where I'm just like thinking. And I wish I could shut it off. But anyways, I'm going to a sleep study.
Yeah.
Now, one of the sleep studies I was going to try was it was like at home. They send it to you, and then you send them everything, like the hard drive that's hooked up to your computer with all these nodes and modules, and then they read it and tell you what's going on. I don't think that's going to work for me. I don't want to be hooked up to this shit and worried if I did it right.
Well, it's just such an unnatural way to sleep. That's so...
Yeah, so I don't know how the sleep study is going to go anyways, because it's like, I'm in someone else's bed. I know I'm being watched. There's wires coming out of me, so I can't really shift how I want because I'm scared those are going to get pulled. I mean, you may as well come up and whisper in my ear, name all of Kelsey's ex-boyfriends right before I try to sleep. I'll be like, fuck, this is way worse than counting sheep. So I don't think it's going to go well.
Yeah, I know. I've thought of that. I've seen pictures online of some of these clinics, and you're like, I mean, even if you didn't have things hooked up to you, it doesn't look like you're...
I can't sleep in the privacy of my own home with a sleep mask and nothing on me and the woman I love right next to me. I can't even imagine how fucking poorly this is going to go. But then maybe they'll be like, all right, here's what we got. We got a lot of brain activity going on here.
Yeah.
Your breathing was this way. I mean, so I'm assuming they'll have some data for me.
Yeah. When you're saying that you are awake for 3 hours and you're thinking, is there like an hour right when you lay down before you fall asleep? Or is this like you're waking up in the middle of the night and then your thoughts start and you're just awake for 3 hours?
Both. And it's not like these crazy thoughts. It's just, I don't know. I'm just thinking. It's weird. Sometimes I will have these thoughts, but I know that I'm not thinking them necessarily. I'm not consciously thinking them. So I think those are called lucid dreams.
Oh, okay.
So you feel awake, but you know the thought process is like, well, I didn't think of that. I didn't put my mom on a fucking donkey in Antarctica. So you're not responsible for those thoughts. So I think it is partially a dream, but you still feel awake.
Okay.
So you're like, oh, I've just been thinking about my mom on a donkey in Antarctica. last night I fell asleep very quickly. And then the night before was one of those where I was up for an hour, just kind of decompressing and thinking about what I had to do. And, I know that I need to write down what I have to do the next day before I go to bed. So I'm not thinking about it. And I know that I'm also supposed to not look at my phone right before I go to bed. But sometimes we go to bed right after midnight and we're playing Wordle and we're in a serious competition.
I know. You can kind of see it on YouTube. There's a belt over there that Chad has made when he won the first time. We play Wordle, Quirtle, and Nerdle in succession. We rotate through and we're always trying to get all three, and then you have the belt in air quotes for the time.
I don't know that air quotes are involved or an eye roll because I have the belt. That's it.
Okay. Yes, Chad has the belt. Ugh, so frustrating. It's so great to be with somebody who is so smart, but fuck, when you get beaten all the time and things, it is frustrating.
And yeah, like in events, not physically. And then also, you are a champion sleeper.
Yes.
So to go back to sleeping, it's also like we'll be spooning and I'm just thinking my thoughts and all of a sudden you're twitching and I can hear you going like slurping up your drool because you wear a mouth guard at night. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny, right? Because she'll just get ready for bed and she's got her PJs on, which I'm a PJ guy, so goddamn, that works for me. And like her hair will be in a ponytail from when she's washing her face and taking her makeup off, and then she'll like take the ponytail off, and I'm just like, oh my God. And then the light will get turned off, and then she'll get in bed and be like, do you want a spoon? And it completely goes from fucking hot as ever to who is in this bed with me. You want a spoon?
Sorry, I'm drooling.
I hope, hey, sweet dreams. I mean,
I love you forever. Do you love me forever? Do you want blowjobs? I mean, I become gross so fast.
I don't think it's gross. It just is, the juxtaposition is wild. It is like black on white. So.
Yep. Farting, chili beans, It's just, I'm not.
I knew what I was getting into with that. I knew about the IBS, but it's just interesting because the light goes off and then it's like that, the woman from Game of Thrones who was young and had sex with Jon Snow. And then all of a sudden you see her later. You're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. The lady from The Shining too.
Yes.
Yeah. My skin's just peeling off my body. Laughing insanely. Yeah. So, what were we talking about that led into that? Oh, your sleep study.
Yeah, that you sleep. Yeah. You sleep very well. So that's also, of course, I want you to sleep. But when I feel you twitching and I'm not even close, I'm just like, oh, this bitch is already sleeping. And she is going to sleep from now until the time her alarm goes off. And deeply.
Yeah.
You sleep, it's creepy. Because first of all, you sleep somehow in the middle of the bed. It's a king size bed and you divide it right in the middle, which is pretty wild. Sorry. Because sometimes I look and I go, maybe I should sleep on that side. It looks like there's more room on the other side of her than I have right here. But you'll sleep with your arms. You sleep like a vampire.
Really?
Yeah, you're on your back. And then just so peaceful, but then sometimes your hand will be on your shoulder. I'm like, what is going on right now?
Oh, God. That's so strange to me because I feel like I always wake up on my side.
Maybe, but I think you do the majority of your sleeping on your back at night and just like a cute little like that.
You start to look at my canine teeth and be like, are those extra sharp? Or are they sharper than a normal person's? Who is this?
That's why she always needs so much sunscreen? What's happening?
Yeah, it's tough because I feel badly as your partner that I tend to sleep so well and you sleep so poorly and that there's nothing I can do to help you. Like there are a lot of things I think in a relationship where if your partner's going through something, you're like, okay, well, let me take this on. Let me do this to try to make the person's life easier.
Right.
If somebody isn't sleeping, there's so little that another person can do to fix it.
No, there's nothing you can do.
Right.
But you did go look at all the sleep studies and find me a link and all of these things. But it sucks.
Yeah.
As you know, not sleeping is bad for you physically. It makes you groggy. And luckily for you, it makes you very grumpy at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's almost like... So normally, a regular person, they'll hear something and they'll go, oh, that's ridiculous, and just lets it go. I can do that. I have that ability. Mm-hmm. When I have slept 3 hours a night for 4 straight nights, I lose that ability.
Yeah.
And sometimes I hear something, I go, that's ridiculous that anyone would think anything else. Here's something I'd like to talk about. And it's a fucking nightmare, I would imagine.
Yes. By the way, he does not, he's exaggerating and to be funny with the, he doesn't yell at me. But we were talking about this on a scientific level of that part of your brain that is capable of being reasonable and logical starts to shut down, and then your fight or flight, like lizard brain.
Yeah.
We say that's your amygdala.
Yeah, and then that's the front, what is it? The
left frontal cortex.
Yeah. That's the newest part of the brain. That's the one that, makes us go, oh, this is a problem. Actually, it isn't.
Right.
And sends it out. The reptilian brain.
This is a pretend problem.
Yes.
If I may.
You may. I'm glad you said it into that, or it would have sounded horrible. Yeah. So, but the reptilian brain, like you were saying, doesn't have that. It goes, problem, real problem.
Yeah. Reptilian brain thinks everything is World War II, needs to be given a ton of attention and effort, even though it's like, this should have been let go of 3 days ago. This is totally a pretend problem. And so it's hard because you and I in the past month and a half have had more arguments than usual.
Yeah, 3.
3 bigger
in
arguments.
6 weeks.
Yeah, which for us is a lot.
Yeah.
Not small whatever, oh, this person didn't do the dishes, more like a real true argument.
Yeah, but nothing, nothing to keep us away from that hotel in Spokane.
That's true. Yeah. On the spectrum of how I think couples could fight, certainly not toward a bad end, but just for us, it's been more disruptive. It's not been our usual fun, super happy way we are. We've had some things come up, and I feel like I'm able from the outside to look in and be going, okay, I know he's not getting sleep. I know he's not able to think the way he usually would. And I have empathy for that. Because I'm like, oh my God, I'd be a fucking nightmare if I was getting... the fact that you're able to function the way you do with the amount of sleep you get is mind-blowing to me. I would be such a cunt. I would be unbearable to be around if I got the amount of sleep you got.
Well, the good news is it everything I'm thinking kind of combines and gets this ball rolling. Yeah. Right? Where I know when I don't sleep, I'm a little bit older than you. I don't know if people in the program know that, but you keep somehow looking younger, which is fucking maddening.
Well, 8 hours of sleep a night.
But when I don't sleep, I get up and it's just like these big giant bags, and my forehead looks squeezed together because I've been fucking go to bed, all this stuff. And that starts to bother me. And then all these little things start to bother me. So I'm grumpy. And then a problem comes through that normally would be that's not a problem. I mean, the grip strength in my brain is fucking outrageous. If you could just bring me pieces of coal and I could stick them in my ear, I would just have a fucking diamond factory. Just, oh, here it is. Here it is. So I can hold on to something because we've talked about this before, but when I think of something, I don't think of, you said to me, which I thought was very interesting. You said, I argue like a flat earther, where I will have just 3 pieces of information that I'll keep repeating, and there is 150 pieces of information from which to grab. And I'm just like, yeah, but what about, can't see over the edge. It's like that.
That is what it's felt like. The past month and a half, the arguments we've had, I've been like, you are choosing to not include really vital information
Right.
that should change how you feel about this thing.
Right.
But you are so like just pit bull, bit down, death grip on these certain pieces of information that it's like, that makes it not accurate if you only look at those.
Right. Well, it makes it accurate. Those 3 pieces of information I have are accurate.
Right.
However, what I like to do is not choose from the 150 real events. What then I like to do is take those 3 things and fill everything else in from what ifs.
Oh, so fun.
Which is
really fun
the
game.
best.
Really fun game, especially around the holidays.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yep. So I like to do that. And then you get to a point where you're like, listen, here's the thing. And you just lay it out in facts. And so on this last argument, I wrote all of those things down.
Yeah, you pushed me to Vikings game level anger.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, it did get to the point where I was like, oh my God, what do I need to say to get through to him?
Yeah.
Because as much as I empathize with, like, I know he's not sleeping. I know his
But I don't want to use that as an excuse either.
No, I know. But I know that is like, that is part of it. It's not all of it, but it's part of it. But then it's like, I can be empathetic, but it's also like, when that's happening, it's negatively impacting me and our relationship. And that's frustrating.
Right. And so I wrote those things down. So that way, if I'm tired, again, 12 hours of sleep in 4 nights is not great.
Horrible. Yeah.
And so now I have this, it is pinned to the top of my notes. So if I ever go, well, what about this? I can go, fuck you, dude. I don't care if you're tired. Let's go.
Yeah.
Because I even talked about this in therapy. And I was like, I wish I could I'm 48. Why can't I tell myself to shut the fuck up? Yeah. And then that's when my therapist was like, listen, I'm not letting you off the hook. We have the tools to do all this stuff. But it really is, your reptilian brain is like, shut the fuck up. Why? We got to bring this up. We got to figure this out.
Yeah, we might be in danger.
But I don't want to use that as an excuse because I just really do think I should be able to shut the fuck up. That's why I wrote those things down.
Yeah. Can I share another thing that you found in therapy that I thought was really interesting?
Depends.
Okay, I think you'll be okay with it.
Okay.
So you said that after this session and during it, that you realized this is the first relationship you've been in that has not been maybe dysfunctional or had chaos?
I would say, yeah, had chaos. I think we should
chaos?
say that.
Okay. And that is scary for you because you're not used to it.
Right.
And so even though you know logically that to have a relationship with chaos isn't what you want, having a relationship with chaos is at least familiar. And so that makes it feel safer.
Yeah, so I will go look for trouble.
You'll look for trouble.
Yeah, which is like, and by the way, you want to talk about strengths? I am good at finding trouble. It does not take me long to find trouble. I am a fucking trouble pig.
I have been actually shocked at how much trouble you've been able to find in a month and a half.
Yeah, where you just go, hey, everything's going great, right? I mean, it feels to me like when someone from a poor family gets a good job, graduates college, and then has this nice outfit on, and they're going back to the family reunion, and they look in the window, and they're like, oh no, no one else looks like this. So they go grab some mud, and they're fucking getting it all over their pants like, hey, y'all, I know it's not the Southern accent I shouldn't use because I got in trouble. But it really does feel a little bit like that where the no problems at all is fucked up. It's like, how do we live in a world without problems? What are we going to be mad about? I need to find something to be mad.
There are things to be mad about, but you don't have to have them in the relationship. You can have them in other things in your life, and then the relationship can be the peaceful part of your life.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't feel right to me.
You're like, what? But we're never going to be perfect. We're always going to find shit about each other that bothers each other.
Right.
But like, it doesn't have to be a let's upend everything.
Oh, I'm not going to grab a piece of paper to argue with you. I go get the giant leather-bound book that when you slam it down on the counter, dust goes everywhere. Like, that's me. I go deep.
Yeah, you were saying that you're like a trouble truffle pig and how quickly you can find it's like you have no refractory period for fights. Like, we'll have one and I'm like, okay, well, that has to be it. And then it's like already ready to go again with something else where I'm like, we just squashed something.
What about this thing that I just remembered that happened in the past that has nothing to do with our current relationship that we've already talked about? Huh?
Yeah,
How about them apples?
It's been a little whack-a-mole-ish lately.
Yeah.
But third time's a charm, third fight in 6 weeks. I hope that it's the last one for a while.
We'll see.
What do you think, fight starter?
So what I told you is, what I'd like to do is kind of look at the future and pick some dates that is going to spread this out, right? We had 3 fights in 6 weeks, which means one every 2 weeks, right? But if we can get to another 6 weeks with no fight, then it is 1 fight every 4 weeks, and that is average. And then that gives you time to think about something to fight about. Because I'll let you pick the next one.
I don't have anything. I don't want to fight.
I know that. So that is so interesting to me. That's what you said. You go, I don't bring fights to this relationship. I don't want to fight. I don't need to fight. And I'm just sitting there like, I mean, it feels weird. Like you're getting into the ring with somebody who's like, they made me come in here.
Yeah.
They're pushing that person in there. And so it does feel, awful, really. And that's why I talked about it in therapy. But, I'm just trying to get by. Everybody back off.
That's how you're going to end this. Oh, my God.
Everybody just back the fuck up for a second. Can I take a breath, please?
Yeah, I don't want to fight with you.
I don't want to fight either, because yesterday we didn't fight, right? I have a new thing that I say every morning. It's only been 2 mornings, but and it is like that's what I want to do. Yeah. I would much rather be in our current relationship than I just struggle with thinking about the past, and I'm working on it. But I would much rather be in our current happy relationship where there aren't any problems. I mean, really.
No, like big. Yeah, nothing big.
Other than you having to sigh after you shit. I don't know. When you have to give yourself a pep talk in the mirror after shitting.
Yeah, that was a lot. But yeah, after our recent fight, you were like, you're saying like, I'll go downstairs and like give you some space. Yeah. You can like, just hang out up here or whatever. And I was like, I think I said later after we'd had a few hours apart, I was like, I don't want to be away from you. That's the thing. It's like, I didn't want to take time apart today. I felt like I had to so that I could calm down from being angry. But like what I wanted for today was to hang out and have fun. Like I never want to spend a day apart. It just feels like a wasted day for no reason.
And maybe I need to push your buttons and make you angry because that's what I'm used to. I need to have a partner that's mad at me so I can fix it. Let's keep doing that. Once every 2 weeks, I'll really get you fucking upset.
No.
Okay.
Stop.
Yeah, that is a bad idea.
It's too much. So this is actually going to lead perfectly into our questions for this week.
Didn't even plan it.
So you guys have been sending us such great questions. This has been, I think, one of my favorite parts of the podcast.
Yeah,
so
there
far.
are so many and they're so great. I mean, we may have to eventually do like a bonus episode
like
or
a Patreon
Patreon thing where we just answer questions.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten some comments where it's like, it's nice that Chad knows he doesn't know anything. I would like to throw that out there. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just answering the questions. Please don't listen. Listen, but like, don't take heed.
Oh, stop. You give great advice.
Okay. I don't want to do this.
Are you serious right now?
Well, yeah. I just want people to know I don't think I'm an expert at stuff. I think you are very good at giving advice. The way you handled our fight, we don't have any broken dishes. And that blows my mind. That blows my tits back.
I'm not a dish breaker.
Yeah, I would like to see it, but I don't want to be the reason. But I would like to see it, but I don't want to be the reason.
Our listeners, I think, are all collectively rolling their eyes at you along with me when you're saying, like, don't listen to my advice. I don't give good advice. You give great advice. I know that you are, like, afraid of coming off too sincere or thinking that people are going to think that you're some know-it-all.
Because I'm cool, bro.
Yeah.
I've always been cool. Look at me.
That's the best type of person. Just please relax. Everybody knows you're not.
Okay. It makes me feel weird. I'm ready. Okay. Let's do it. I have a question. Yeah. How do you not feel weird about answering questions?
Because people listening know that we're comedians. They know we're not experts, but
I think it's just helpful. See, you are very good at giving advice. That's very helpful.
Well, thanks.
Yep. All right, let's try this first one.
If you're trying to solve your life's problems by writing into two comedians on a podcast, I'm going to assume that like we weren't your first option. I think we all know what we're getting into here. We're just two people that are going to try our best to give advice.
Yes, that's true. We are trying our best.
But of course, it's like if you're going through something like really major that you want,
hang up and dial 911.
Very educated advice on. I fucking wish therapy wasn't so expensive because I know that it's not available to everybody. But, this show, it's meant to be a fun show and we hope we help. But we're certainly not licensed therapists. We're just doing our best.
We hope we help.
We hope we help.
Bumper sticker.
Hey. And I will say, so if you want to write into the show, it's pretendproblemspodcast@gmail.com. We are starting to answer about 3 to 4 listener questions at the end of every episode. But I think too, if you are a listener who struggles with sleep stuff or has figured out some sleep solutions.
Come on, son.
Write into pretendproblemspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know. Or you could leave it in an iTunes review because that helps the show. If you give us a 5-star rating and put it in a review. Either way. Ouch. Did I have a sliver on my pants and I just smashed it on there? Ow. Anyway.
Can you believe she's not breaking dishes?
But yeah, I would love to know, just for your sake, because I feel like I'm not a great advice giver on sleep because I'm #blessed in the sleep department.
Yeah, well, I've been given a podcast to listen to. It's 6 hours long, so I can't necessarily do that. But I will let you guys know how the sleep study goes and that podcast, because I'm assuming, what it's going to be? It's going to be all the shit I know. Don't look at your screen. Turn your lights off, 3 hours before you go to bed. Don't drink water 3 hours before you go to bed. Don't have sugar afternoon. Don't have caffeine afternoon. Fucking boring. I'd rather not sleep. I'm just going to be the nerdiest nerd not starting fights. You're going to hate me. I'm going to be the nerdiest nerd.
I think you love chaos.
I like it a little more than just being a wallflower.
You have to sleep. Okay. So our first question today is, they say, "Hi, Kelsey and Chad. Love the show. Have a question for you both. I recently started seeing..." What'd you say?
I just said thank you. They love the show.
Okay. You were mouthing something sassy.
Oh my God. This fucking bitch is about to try to answer a question.
That's the mind space I'm in after 6 weeks of 3 fights with you. I just assume it's...
I bet there are listeners right now going, 3 fights in 6 weeks? Jesus Christ, I wish. I wish it was just that.
Maybe. Okay, they say, "I recently started seeing a girl who is dating openly, which I'm cool with. As an insecure person, as most comics are, how can I see her and not feel like I'm competing with the other guys? Have a great holiday season." First of all, thank you, and thank you for writing in. I think this is a great question. And What are you smiling about?
I think it's a great question too.
I think it's a great question, especially for nowadays when situationships has become, it seems like almost as common as relationships. Like these sort of, like people are seeing each other, but it's not exclusive, and trying to manage expectations. It's not for everybody.
Sounds like somebody's trying to get free dinners. That's what it sounds like to me. Fuck this. Go find someone that only wants to be with you. This is dumb. How are you going to be at dinner and paying for dinner, having a great night, knowing the next night she's going to go fill up on this guy's hog? No.
Oh my God.
Why would you want to do that? Well, at least, this is the thing. It's like, are you going Dutch? Is she paying for her meal? Because you're just, at that point, you're like an accessory. You're her, you know how we have an external hard drive for our computers? You're her external bank account. It sucks. I think it sucks. Now, I am also very insecure, and as most comics are, and I don't like this situation at all unless you're willing to bring the fucking thunder and win the contest. Because if you win the contest, that's going to feel absolutely amazing. If you don't, well, how are you? You're going to have a great hour. You're going to write a great hour if you're a comedian. And I know you are, because I see the name. You're going to have a fantastic hour after this. But those are your options, I feel.
Yeah. Chad is a little more old school, a little more traditional. But here's what I love about you, about all of that, is you know yourself. And you know that for you...
Know thyself.
Know thyself. That is not anything you're interested in.
That doesn't work for me.
And so that's something I mean, what you're saying is, to me, a little mixed. Where you're saying that she... What?
That's waiting to hear your answer.
Okay.
I'm teasing.
You said you started recently seeing a girl who's dating openly, and you're saying that you're cool with that. You say, which I'm cool with. But then you say, as an insecure person, how can I see her and not feel like I'm competing with the other guys? So I'm like, how cool with it are you? Are you being honest with yourself? Is this, I think if you continue to see her and you start to feel invested, I think for you, you might have to have a conversation of like, hey, I'm starting to have feelings. I would be interested in seeing you exclusively. If that's not something you're interested in, I totally understand.
Yeah, yes.
But I don't think I could continue to see you.
I love that. That's great.
And I will also say, if you do ever end up saying to her that you would want to see each other exclusively and she's not interested in that, do your best to not take it personally, because it's just like, I'm such a big believer in, if you're meant to be together, you'll be together. And there are so many reasons why two people wouldn't be that have nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Now, I can get on board with this. I completely agree with this. If you say, I'm into it, and she says, I'm not ready for that, I like what's happening, how it is, that's not you. That's just what she wants, which I'm going to tell you something. I struggle with that.
Yeah.
I hear that and I think, oh, fuck, I did something wrong. I blew it. It's my fault. I pinch a tit, that kind of stuff, my own. And I just want to make sure.
I walk down the street, I pinch a tit.
Well, I just want to make sure after I said, if you're buying dinner, you better be getting laid. I'm not saying like, oh, you don't want to date me exclusively? Like, don't pinch her tit. I pinch my tit. And I always make it about something that's wrong with me, but it wouldn't be, because now I can see, because I'm outside the situation. I have great vision from outside a situation. Mm-hmm. And it is absolutely, like you said, all I'm doing is repeating your answer.
That's okay.
In a more
Thank you for mansplaining my answer.
Sharp tone. Well, that's not what I was agreeing with you, and then I just kept hopping on. I'm not trying to mansplain anything.
No, it's okay. I know you're not. I'm just.
But here's what she was trying to say, because I know you didn't understand it because of her smaller brain.
Oh, everything's great. It is. So this is another very interesting question. This is about last names after marriage. So this person says, tell me if I'm being sensitive. Me and my husband have been married for 3 years. I did not take his last name. I never said I would. Both he and I agreed that this was okay, and he understood my reasoning. His immediate family has been okay with it, but his extended family seems to have an issue with it. They will not use or say my last name and insist that we have the same last name. And it isn't like I'm shy when I sign my name with my real last name. So Christmas cards, wedding invites, and gifts always have the wrong last name. Am I being sensitive by letting it bug me?
I don't think you're being sensitive.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so either.
I think that it is absolutely your choice. It's between you and your husband, and what they're doing is actually disrespectful. They're taking what you want and they're not giving it to you because they are stuck in a time period where that wasn't a thing. What I think, if your husband is truly okay with it and you agreed, I would ask your husband to kick a door down and be like, enough is enough.
Yeah, I am curious what is the backstory here in terms of like, have you guys actually had a conversation with the extended family and been like, hey, there was an intention behind her not taking my last name. We would really appreciate if you respected that with invites and gifts and stuff like that. I don't know if it's just like, I would be curious to know.
I don't like that. I don't like the calmness. Kick the door down and be like, enough is enough. That's my fucking wife, and you will respect her. You respect our decision. Quit being cunts. Because what? Because you think this, everyone has to think it? Grow up.
Right. So I feel a little bit in the middle on if you're being, not that if you're being sensitive, but about letting it bug you. I think it's totally reasonable to let something like that bother you. But I think there's also a point too where if you wanted to, you could be like, who the fuck cares what those people think of? Like, I know what my last name is, but I don't know. Maybe his extended family is important to you, and that is a big deal. And
well, also, I wouldn't go to the stuff you're getting invited to because it'd be like, oh, that's not a person.
I didn't get the invitation.
If you want me to go, write my goddamn name on it.
Yeah.
Like a grown up. Stop being a child. Because I'm sure you want to go and you want to have a ton of fun with the immediate family that's respecting you. But these fucking hillbillies, enough.
You know the Taylor Swift song, Look What You Made Me Do?
I don't.
There's a pretty iconic part in the middle. I think you would know where she says, the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now.
Oh, yep.
Why?
I do know that.
Because she's dead. It's like, the new Taylor can't come to the phone right now because she's dead. Like, she was never born. It's just still the old person.
Yeah, that's great.
This new person can't come to the wedding. They don't exist.
They never
actually.
existed.
They never existed. So, yeah, I would definitely talk to your husband and see if there's some communication that can happen there. But yeah, sorry that's happening. That is very frustrating.
I have a question.
Sure.
You and I get married.
Yeah.
What's going to go on with the names?
Well, because I did think about this when I read that question about how I would feel about it. So, you know that I would want to keep my last name, largely because I know you don't care.
To look mad. I don't care.
I know, because our business is that it is your name. You are trying to get people to know your name,
right?
And but the thing is, I love your last name. And when we've gone on vacation and people have gone, "Oh, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Daniels," or called me Mrs. Dan. I mean, I love that. So for me, it wouldn't bother me if I got something in the mail that said that on it, I wouldn't be like, oh, what the fuck? But that's just me. I totally can understand when people would not want that.
But I think what you're talking about is like valets, hotels. What she's talking about is people are doing it on purpose. It's not like they don't know that she kept her name. They're doing it in spite of it.
Almost like a pressuring.
I don't even know if it's a pressuring. It's just being an asshole. Yeah. I don't like anything about that.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
So we're going to take one more question and we'll wrap it up. So they say, hi, Chad and Kelsey, been watching your new show and it is great. Thank you. My relationship question to you is, I have been married to my wife for 6 years, together for 9, have no kids. We have a very open and honest marriage. That said, after after these years, I can feel us slowing down a bit. We get shorter with each other on dumb little things. Uh-oh. You and I.
Not dumb.
Sex life is less important. And our relationship feels more like a partnership as the years go by. We still love each other to death and wouldn't trade each other for the world. But is this what things will be like going forwards? Slowly going towards partnership, then relationship. And is there a way to fix this? Chad, as someone who is divorced, did this happen to you? And as someone who has gone through therapy/couples therapy, do you have any wisdom to share?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to talk about my former marriage just because it's not fair. I don't think, to talk on behalf of the whole thing when there were two people involved. Mm-hmm. But I will say, have kids. Have some kids. They'll fix it.
That's the funniest thing you've said this whole podcast.
Look at me. So you asked, is this the new norm or whatever? Is this the how it's going to be moving forward, or is there a way to fix it? So the answer, I think, there is, if you don't take action to change it, that is going to be the new normal, and it's not going to stay like this. It's going to keep declining to where you end up sleeping like two old farmers in twin beds. And you decide to greet each other with noises like meh, meh, stuff like that. I think that's where you could be headed long term if you don't take action to fix it. How do you do it? I think maybe read this to your partner. I mean, that might be a start. Read your question to them is what I would say. And would I have done that previously before this one? No, I wouldn't have. But I'm learning how to communicate, and it sucks shit. So, I mean, if you just look down on your computer and read it, maybe it won't be so weird, but I don't know. But you're going to have to talk about it for sure.
Yeah, it's tough for us, I think, within our relationship to give advice on something like this because we have not been together for 9 years. So we don't know how we're going to feel about each other in 9 years.
Oh, I have an idea. Mrs. Daniels.
I hope that it doesn't feel like a partnership and less of a relationship. But I think, I don't know, I've seen so many TikToks and YouTube videos about how just chemically in a long-term relationship, changes do happen where it's like you're not having that exposure to the brand new things about that person anymore. And it's just different things happening in your brain. But I mean, you mentioned in here too that you love to travel. I mean, I think that's such a great thing to jumpstart some newness because you're at least going to a new place together. But I don't know. Are you in couples therapy? Chad and I are about to start couples therapy.
This is what you get for starting 3 fights in 6 weeks. Yeah, bring someone else into the mix and trying to fix it. Wish there was a podcast we could write into a question.
We're going to give it a try. I think it's a good idea.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
I think therapy has been very good for me, so I'm assuming couples therapy will be very good for me.
Yeah. It'll be content for the podcast, if anything.
Yeah. Yes. But I do think, I mean, it doesn't have to be the new norm. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The sex, if you feel like partners, the sex life is going to go down.
Yeah.
And it is going to feel just a little more boring and like you're just going through the days. But we only have a finite number of days, so you might want to start swinging it back to the fun zone. Because it is no fun to feel like you're just in a business with somebody living in the same house, because that's not why we want to be in a romantic relationship.
Yeah, and I wonder if you guys are still dating each other. Chad is really good. And again, I know we haven't been together for 9 years, but Chad is really good, even after over a year of being together, at constantly thinking of surprise dates or just random things where he's like, we're going to go do this. I have a surprise for you.
Well, it's mostly because I'm apologizing for starting a fight.
It's not.
I know.
But I love that. And then it inspires me to want to do fun things like that for you. I mean, I've never felt lazier in a relationship. Like, I thought I was romantic and thoughtful and stuff like that. And I think I am, but you're really good at doing stuff like that.
Well, thanks.
And it makes me want to do more of it. So Yeah, I wonder, this sounds unromantic, but if you guys could just like maybe put it on your calendar, like commit to once or twice a month that you are like once a month you're going to plan a surprise date and once a month your wife is going to plan a surprise date. I mean, I think that can really help.
I think it can too, because then you're getting dressed up. You're not just going from work to sweats to food to TV to, I mean, sometimes we get in a rut and it's just this pattern. And then the things that we really enjoy get kind of kicked out of that pattern, like sexy time.
Yeah.
And the stuff that's kind of going downhill. So, yeah, getting dressed up and just going out and, I don't know if you drink, but a glass of wine, or, I mean, even you don't need a drink. You just, because the ambiance of a new restaurant, or, you know, going out and looking at Christmas lights or whatever it is, kind of changes the way you're thinking and changes up the pattern.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for writing into pretendproblemspodcast@gmail.com.
I can tell I was talking too much.
No, you weren't.
I'm just kidding. I was totally kidding.
Chad's really back on his just kidding train.
It's brutal.
So much.
I like to say something and then go, just kidding. That's everybody's favorite. But thank you for writing in. They are really interesting and like real. I don't think we've had too many. I mean, probably had a couple, but not too many that are not true questions.
Not true questions?
Like not real questions that they want answered.
Oh, just like kind of random things. Yeah, they've been great. So please continue to write in. We will continue to answer. We've got so many to get to. So maybe that will be the Patreon. Let us know what you guys would want from a Patreon from us, because we're starting to think about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want us to run through all the questions, great.
Yeah. But please share the show. Give it a 5-star rating on iTunes.
Yeah, tell your pals.
Go subscribe to Chad's YouTube where the videos of the show are. And yeah, Happy New Year. Oh, we didn't do our New Year's resolution. We'll have to do that next episode.
At the next episode.
Bye, guys.